What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. All right, so Skip Bayless has kicked off the new Undisputed with his new gang of Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman, and Michael Irvin. So just some initial I haven't seen any footage. I woke up hours ago, checked YouTube, and I was like, oh snap, they already started. I was like, all right, well, let me see what this guy's got. But let me tell you, when I initially heard of who they were casting as it started coming in over the last few weeks, I was not a fan. I'm not a fan of either one of these guys. I just think the collaboration of all these guys, I just don't think it's a good fit, nor do I find each one of these individuals necessarily entertaining individually. That's just me personally. And then me, I don't really watch a lot of the football content. I've gotten away from football over the years, I have to admit. So when I watch, I usually watch for basketball, and I have heard Skip Bayless basketball takes, which are generally hot garbage, and the times I do agree with Skip, I don't agree with his foundation for his conclusion, even though we have the same conclusion. Keyshawn Johnson, to me personally, I don't think he knows a lot about basketball, and his takes are kind of garbage in my opinion. And I've heard minimal from Sherman and Irvin regarding basketball, and I just don't feel like they really know much about basketball to really speak at it on this level. But not many of the analysts do, if I'm gonna just be honest. And you got three football guys, and once basketball season starts, especially when football ends and basketball starts, this is just gonna be a panel of hot garbage basketball takes. It really is. Football, they probably, as far as knowledge wise, they have it on lock. Those three guys, Skip to a lesser degree. But we'll see. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe together all these guys work fine. But from what I've seen individually, each one of these guys like to talk. And I don't know if they've had much rehearsals or fleshed out a good vibe. But we'll see. Like I said, it's my first time dipping into it. Let's check it out. All right, so the original video I was going to react to had to do with LeBron James. The topic had to do with LeBron James. But the video and audio are desynced, and that's one thing. It's just aggravating to watch something that's desynced. That's just me personally. So I went to another video, and I don't really care so much about the topic or their opinions with this. I just kind of want to see what the show's going to be like, the energy anyway. So, like I said, I've gotten away from football, but this is a 49ers topic of Trey Lance going to the Cowboys for the 4th round pick. Let's get it.
Then he starts off last year against the defending AFC champ Bengals. It's a Sunday night game, big stage, and he throws for 235. And on the last series, in the last minute, he hits CD for 8, then he hits Noah Brown for 12, and he hits CD for 10, sets up a walk-off field goal. It was an incredible drive. Then he turns right around and goes to the Giants as they're going to open on Sunday night against the Giants. He's at the Giants against the arch rival, and they are on an early roll. And what does he do? They fall behind because Saquon busts loose late third quarter. They're down 13-6. And he goes on a run in the next two possessions. He goes, this is Cooper Rush, 12-13 for 123 yards. Touchdown, touchdown, game over. He was good against Washington. He didn't have to be good against the Rams because they ran for 163. And then he got off to a rocky start at Philadelphia, and then here he came. Gallup drops a touchdown pass at the end of the half, and they have to take a field goal. Then he comes out in the second half, touchdown, touchdown. And all of a sudden I look up, and it's 20-17. Philly 20, and Jalen takes over the next series with 3 straight third down conversions with his legs. I'm telling you, Cooper Rush can flat play, and Romo predicted on CBS that he would get a deal, and for the league agrees with you. They're just seeing just some guy. And he did not get a deal, which was music to my ears because we got him back.
If you listen,
and we got the perfect quarterback situation.
I understand the Cowboy love, all right? I get it. I get it with you and Skip. I played for him. I like him too. But here's what I'm going to say when you break down the Cooper Rush situation, man. The playbook was tailor-made for him.
Hey, but it's tailor-made for everybody.
No, it's not. No, that is the coach's job. But what they did when Dak Prescott came back is they opened it back up. Rather than take that same playbook and give it to Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Because Dak's skill set is better. You know this, Michael. They felt like, we can ask him to do more.
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
How much did Dak do at San Francisco in the playoff game?
now,
It was wide open. Open that book up.
But
go look at the numbers. We scored 12
That's what they
points.
decided to do.
But that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
You're saying that by going to get brand new.
All they got to do, all they got to do, Sherman.
Right.
We needed one last year.
All they got to do, Sherman, with Dak Prescott is stick to the same game plan they have with Cooper Rush. They decided to open it back up, and that's when they got into trouble.
They didn't decide, hey, we gonna limit it with Cooper Rush.
Absolutely.
That's all
Man,
subjective.
they ran the ball. They ran the ball extremely well, and the defense at that 6-game stretch was playing lights out.
They still were running the ball. Dak was not efficient. Dak was not good with the football. I can hear what you're saying.
No, he wasn't.
He was not good with the football.
Because they asked him to do more.
They asked him to throw it to his team and not the other team.
Thank you.
That's not a crazy thing.
Stop.
I'm not about to let y'all go.
There was a lot going on in that. There was a lot going on in that.
It's a lot going on in everything, but why wasn't that going on when Cooper Rush was playing? Why wasn't that happening when Cooper Rush was playing?
Because they wasn't allowing Cooper Rush to do the same things as Dak.
They're not telling Cooper Rush to not throw interceptions, just like they're telling Dak to not throw interceptions. They're not telling him, hey, throw it to your guys and not the other team.
You're correct, throw it to the right color. But when you are telling Cooper Rush, hey, we're going to run screens, we're going to run shallow crosses, we're going to dink it.
That's not all he was
pushing
running.
the ball down the field.
That man was pushing the ball down the field. They were making big plays. He threw for 325 in his
You got to point at something. Coach Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush did a great job. Running the offense. And staying in the main guys. But let me go back to something. Remember now, last year, early on with Dak, we have CeeDee Lamb trying to morph into this number one receiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
So early on, CeeDee had some drops. And some balls went through his hands. And some balls went through his hands, and they turned up interceptions. Some balls went through a lot of those receivers' hands that turned up interceptions. And everybody put it on Dak, but the ball was dropping.
I'm getting this feeling that Skip Bayless is getting slightly agitated because he can't get any words in.
Put all people in. Hey, early on, as CD was converting, and you guys know this, I talked to CD about that. I said, CD, hey, man, you're the number one receiver now. Everybody's going to be around you all the time. There is no you going to be wide.
You got to run the right route.
And what he was trying to do with everybody around him, he was.
I just realized there's no moderator, right? They usually a female moderator on set to help orchestrate everything and direct the flow, the momentum, switch topics. And I don't see one. So I'm wondering if Skip Bayless has taken on a dual position of, analyst, personality, and mediator.
He was still trying to catch balls in his hands. And there's a natural defense mechanism within the body to protect you when people are around you. If I squeeze my hand, you're going to blink your eye naturally. So now he's trying to catch it. I said, wait, let me finish. I told him, I said, listen, man, with all these people around you, learn to catch this ball in your body. Right. So in your hands, you tighten up, ball goes through you. Or you tighten up, ball hits the ground.
That's the worst advice I've ever heard for a receiver. Don't catch it with your hands, catch it with your body.
How you going to tell me that's the worst advice? I'm only one of the best to ever do it at playing that game.
What I'm saying is,
I don't know how you can tell me
catch it with your body and not your hands.
It led to championships on every level. What I'm talking about doing, I want championships on every level doing. I don't know how you're going to say that's bad advice. How is that bad advice?
Because if you're telling kids to catch with their body and not their hands.
Sherman, you got to listen to what he's saying.
One second.
No.
I understand what he's saying.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying, I play corner. If you catching it in your body, you bringing it that close, and I'm on your back, I'm getting that out of there. Every single time. I'm getting that out of there. You're not bringing it in your body. Catch it with your hands out here. But what I'm saying is, y'all are making excuses.
You gotta look at Skip Bayless's facial expressions and body gestures doing all this. He's not digging this right now. I can tell you. I'm a good judge of body language. He's like, and you know Skip, man. He likes to talk. He likes to be the center of attention. Oh, it's my turn now. It's my turn now. They ain't letting him get anything in. Too many personalities. Too many overwhelming personalities.
Excuses saying a professional, 12 games.
I'm telling you.
He played 12 games.
No, we're letting you, we're trying to.
Y'all are making excuses. Y'all just said it was because of C.D. Lamb.
They're not excuses.
No,
Y'all just said it was C.D. Lamb fault. He threw 15 interceptions.
No, I didn't say it was C.D. Lamb fault. I said he dropped some balls earlier.
Let me break it down to much.
You said facts earlier. We talking facts.
Mike, let me break it down in a much simpler fashion real quick. What Playmaker is saying, though,
Thank you.
is that when you have people around you,
Your
not
body
one
naturally
DB,
tense up.
you naturally tense up.
That's
So
a
therefore,
natural thing.
protect yourself
Thank you, King.
to be able to catch the football.
Come on.
On top of that, when you talk
You a
about
DB,
12
y'all don't even
games,
catch.
when you talk about
Led the
12
decade in
games,
interceptions.
when you talk about interceptions of Dak Prescott in 12 games, yes, he threw a lot. There's no question about it. But I, in particular, can go to games and I can look. I go to the Green Bay Packer game. They're running double posts. They're stacked on top of each other. The tight end and C.D. Lamb. They're right on top of each other. So a quarterback hits his back foot in rhythm. He wants to let it rip. He lets it rip, and all of a sudden, when it's gone, he can't bring it back. They on top of each other. So the first thing that we do is we say, "Oh, why did he throw the interception?"
It was the read.
Skip holding that pen at the paper like he's trying to make a point. Like, I'm about to say this right here. I'm about to say, come on, let me get a word in. I don't know. Maybe that's just a natural, like, tick, for lack of a better word, of his. I don't know. But it's funny.
It's really the receiver.
It was the read.
Okay, but
That's
don't
all.
throw it.
Right.
Just,
That's all. But he's already pulling it. It's the read. It's the timing.
Last thing on Trey Lance. This is just me speaking as a Cowboy fan. Let's just say, hypothetically, Dak has another long, hard year. Let's say he leads the league in picks again. Let's just do the hypothetical. Trey Lance has little to no experience. If he's healthy, he's only 23 years of age, and he's running scout team through the year. Is there a point where next preseason you just throw him into the fire early? You're going to have to play him and risk him getting beat up and hurt, and just see what he can give you in quote-unquote real games against second and third teamers, but just see what it feels like.
They're going to do that anyway.
Okay.
Right.
They're going to do that anyway.
At some point, would you
Yeah.
ever plunge and just say, this kid is so talented, we have to close our eyes and just see if he can do it?
Not yet. No. So what you're saying on a hypothetical, though, Skip, is next season, off season, they see him, the whole off season comes, they get a chance to really, if they still there as a staff, depending on what happens, get a strong look at him. Of course they're going to do that. Again, Dak Prescott has 2 years and $60+ million left. Right. Not all guaranteed money. So now they're talking about an extension. So if something goes wrong this year, you certainly start to look at it and go, okay, is this another, do we want to invest another $150, $200 million in a guy that we're not sure on?
Okay.
Right. One last thing. First of all, when you're catching the football, you don't have to worry about people taking your head off. That's why you can catch in your hands. I just want to give you that quick right there. Second of all, for you, Trey Lance backing up Dak Prescott in next year, and I'm with you. You give him every rep in the preseason next year. Every rep in the preseason. You already know Cooper Rush, you get him out here. The best part about it is they have similar skill sets.
Yes.
Similar skill sets. So you talked about that offense transforming from Cooper Rush when they went back to Dak and all that. Now, with this, that's what's good. You can give them every rep in the preseason next year and still go right back to Dak because the talent is similar, and you can have the same preseason get the rest of the guys. That's why it works. You don't have to catch the ball. Anybody trying to take your head off. So don't be trying to tell me my receivers catch it in their hands. You won't get them knocked out for nothing. At least when you catch it in your body, the first down, I got knocked out, but I still had the first down. You gonna get somebody knocked out.
I thought if you let the ball get to your pads, it ricochets off. Enough.
Come on, Keith.
Hold these thoughts. We're going to get back to Trey Lance later in the show.
All right, so that's just one segment of the show. My initial thoughts from what I see is that I think this is going to be problematic for Skip Bayless. I don't think he's going to like this. And I'm assuming the rest of the show pretty much followed suit more or less from what I've seen here. The Key, Sherm, and Irvin were pretty much dominating the topics and conversation. They have dominant personalities, and everybody wants to talk, especially on topic of football, one that they're all very knowledgeable on. They're all ex-players, right? So, and then they have something to say for everything. And Skip just kind of said, instead of Skip doing a whole bunch of talking, is a whole lot of this. Just body gestures, facial expressions. Someone's like, I agree, I disagree, and then others are like, would you shut the hell up? Or it's like, it's my turn now. It's like, can I talk? It's a lot of that, and Skip likes to be the man. This guy is an absolute narcissist. Is Skip Bayless. He loves to talk. It is his show. He will let you know 1,000,001 times over again if he feels like you're getting out of line that this is his show. And yes, confirmed on how that ended, he is playing moderator duty. And I don't think that's a good look for him. Because you're playing the moderator deal. Your job is segueing topics, controlling. Right now, it don't look like he got no control over these guys. They talking over him amongst themselves, not really saying much to him most of the time. And then once he brings up a new topic, well, now you're giving the floor to them, and they're going to start talking right away. Unless you're like, I'm going to present the topic, now right after I present it, let me say what I got to say, or make sure it comes back to me. But having a moderator would alleviate some of this mess. They could chime in, hey, we got so much time. Let's skip. Let's hear your thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Let's hear your thoughts, Sherm, etc., etc. But I know the thing with Skip, he probably told him we don't need no. I bet Skip told him I don't need no moderator. Because I've seen his interactions with the female moderators before. I don't remember the name of all of them. But there was at least one, maybe two, but at least one. Him and her did not get along, and they had some comments for each other live on television on several occasions when Shannon was on the squad. But as of right now, some people might find this entertaining, the chaotic discussion, the chaotic arguments. Like, Skip didn't even realize it. He just created a legit barbershop by bringing these three guys in, especially when it comes to football. Skip, you just stepped into a barbershop. You just stepped into an African-American barbershop, a black barbershop, bro. You ain't going to get a whole lot of words in, buddy, between those three guys. They got everything to say. Everything to say. And they're more knowledgeable on a topic of football than you are. I mean, I'd probably say 30% of the stuff they were talking about as far as, different type of formations and lineups and sets right there. I bet you Skip didn't even know. He over here nodding his head, but I bet you he didn't even know what the hell that stuff was. And I'll tell you why I say that. And you're like, no, you don't know that. Skip's been in the sports circle for decades. Yeah, he has. But remember on ESPN, back when he was on ESPN, they brought Mark Cuban on. Mark Cuban asked him a very simple question. Skip, can you explain to me how a zone defense works? Skip didn't even know how to communicate to him or explain how a zone defense works. He didn't even know. He couldn't even answer him. And for a man that's been in these NBA circles, inside of locker rooms, got firsthand experience, access to all the stuff that us casuals, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, just compared to somebody that's, in these circles, he should know more about basketball than all of us. Get in the locker rooms, looking at, playboards, playbooks, coach discussion, player discussion, and he couldn't tell me what a 2-3 zone was, or zone in general. So, like I said, after I saw that years ago when Mark Cuban came on First Take, back when Stephen A was on, of course, It was like, I was like, man, this guy really don't know. And I never thought he knew much about the sport, but he really don't know much about the sport. To be on national television, you got to tell me what his zone defense is. Y'all watching my channel right now, y'all ain't got to know what his zone defense is. If you do, great. But if you getting paid that kind of money and you on national television, you talk about basketball, please tell me you know what his zone defense is about, boy. Anyway, this show right now is chaotic, but like I said, some people may find this entertaining. Some people might be like, it's just too much talking over each other back and forth. But I guess depending on what you like, what's your style. I probably couldn't sit here and watch this, me personally, between the chemistry and just the topics, not very interested in. So the entertainment value would really have to resonate with me. But I'm waiting to watch some basketball topics. And I might be waiting until preseason or season starts or something happens. You know, something happens with these players outside of work. You know how that is. Twitter or something, I don't know. But I'm waiting to see, because like I said, I don't think any one of these guys, Skip, Sherm, Key, or Irv, I don't think any one of these guys have a strong basketball IQ. I don't. And I just think the basketball topics are going to be really watered down, as if they weren't already. You know what I mean? But I just think it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad. So, we'll see. But I think if this continues on, and I wouldn't be surprised if Skip hasn't even brought it up already after the first show. And if he hadn't brought it up, it's only a matter of time, if this continues, that he's going to be like, hey, when it's my time to talk, it's my time to talk. It's my show. I need to get my opinion in. I have to get some words in. Y'all are talking too damn much and not giving me the floor. I promise you. And sometimes these shows, when you bring in a new cast and you reorganize everything, restructure everything, sometimes it takes time. If y'all remember, when Shaq first got to TNT Overtime, it was a disaster. I watched it. I was like, I want to see how it's going to go. I was like, this is horrible. This isn't even fun anymore. And it should be more fun with Shaq. And the reason why it wasn't is because Shaq was trying to do too much. He was trying to do way too much. He was like, I'm the big whatever he was calling himself at the time, the big something, the big this, the big that. He might call himself the big personality. I don't know. And he was trying to do too much and, you know, cement himself and let his personality and his presence be felt. And it was taken away from Chuck. It was taken away from Ernie. And it was taken away from Kenny. And it was like that for a little bit until they all had to get a powwow in and say, hey, you got to share the exposure. You got to learn when to shut the hell up. And you got to learn how to work as a team to make this a watchable and enjoyable product. And they eventually got it together. But it was definitely like that in the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is horrible. But hey, look at them. They're great now. And now the Chuck and Shaq banter is entertaining, for better or for worse sometimes. But yeah, we'll see, man. But right now, you know, you're bringing in three guys to try to fill the shoes of one Shannon Sharpe. And I'm not a Shannon Sharpe fan by any means. Y'all know me if you've been on this channel. But, you know, Sharpe definitely solidified himself after just, you know, a couple years on the show. And then he kind of started taking people started falling more, for lack of a better word, in love with Shannon Sharpe. And people were wanting to tune in to hear what he got to say and what his opinion was more than Skip. That's just the truth, man. Shannon Sharpe really cemented himself and grew as a media personality on that show, and honestly overcame Skip. It didn't take very long either. So yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But I haven't, you know, dialed in to see what other people's opinions are and what people are saying. But if the other topics were like this, might be a bit of a dumpster fire, man. It's a bit of a circus act. And at times it's funny because it's just like, what the hell is going on right now? But you want to, really talk about sports, get your thoughts through clearly, without yelling over each other and, passing the buck when it's time to pass the buck. This might be hard to watch at times. That's just my personal opinion. Y'all let me know what you think about it. This is going to be interesting, man. Bringing in 4 big personalities might be hard to mesh, man. TNT works perfect, man. Chuck, strong personality, very unique, right? Ernie plays his moderator role, chimes in where necessary, has some good rebuttals, things like that, but knows his place. Kenny, not a strong personality, but a unique personality. Knows when to chime in, knows when to let Shaq, and knows when to let Chuck do their thing and lead. And Shaq figured his portion out, and they worked perfectly. But I just see like 4 guys that all want to talk and don't understand when they shouldn't talk anymore. Now, Keyshawn has some experience being with Jay Will and Max between the 3 of them, but they really never had 4 unless a guest, popped in. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you think about it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I will catch you on the next one. Salute. We out, baby.